This week on Ranked and Reviewed, we're reviewing Uncharted.
I've been dreaming about this my whole life. Magellan's gold. It's the biggest treasure that's never been found.
5 billion, easy.
So when do we start?
Yeah, put that in your ear.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. I'm sitting right next to you. Your brother believed that there was a final piece.
But you know my brother Sam? What else aren't you telling me?
You have no idea who you're partnered with.
Sully! Hurry! It's gonna take a little longer than I thought, kid. I assume we're 50-50, right?
50-50? You get 10%. That's me being generous.
Wow.
Let's find some parachutes.
What?
Unless you know a better way to jump out of a plane.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry! Oh, crap! Come on!
500 years ago, my family found the fortune, then was betrayed. So much blood.
You're doing great, Keith.
This ain't over. Hey, you still with me?
Barely!
What's with the cat?
She's just for you.
What?
Life seems super sad.
I'm not gonna keep this thing.
Exclusively in movie theaters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Ranked and Reviewed. This is a special event episode, and I'm your host, TOMYE West, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, ALANNIS Maximus.
Greetings.
Hi, man.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. The week is struggling along well. No complaints.
Nice,
If I
man.
have them, no one listens, but that's business as usual.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, no, I've had a good week, man. It's probably my best week that I've had since I lost Barney. But, you know, I just got a new puppy. Oh, not a puppy, but a new dog. She was a rescue dog. She's 3 years old. She's very, very beautiful. She's very funny. She's very kind. She's, yeah, a good dog, man. So,
This is good.
yeah, it is. While she won't replace Barney, she will definitely fill the void that's been missing and get a lot of love at the same time.
Yeah.
So, in case you haven't come to this channel before, or you're coming across this video, or you haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe, like, and you share. And today, we are reviewing a movie that we said we probably would never watch when we first started reacting to the trailers, and that is Uncharted. That's right, we finally watched it. And yeah, it's about time we watched it. What are your thoughts on about how we decided to do this, Alan?
I am glad we did because I enjoyed it. It was, I don't know when I'll watch it again, but I am glad I did watch it.
Yeah, well, I've seen it twice now. I watched it once on my own, but it was really strange because I fell asleep pretty quickly after the movie finished, right? I was watching it in bed, and as I was falling asleep, I fell asleep and I woke up the next day and I was like, did I actually watch the whole thing? I can't remember if I rolled the credits or not. Like, I just can't think if I actually sat through the whole thing or not. And then all I could remember was, you know, how at the end it flashes up with the Uncharted title, you know? That's all that went back into my head. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I definitely watched the whole thing. But I had no like solid memory of it all. So my son came over on the weekend on Saturday night. We watched it together. It was because I couldn't remember a lot of it. There was a lot more the word shit, at least, not swearing, but the word shit was in it a lot more. I forgot about how she like unnecessarily like slit some dude's throat, but like he's 9 and it was nothing. Like you don't even see this throat slit or anything. It's like cuts away from it and all that. But
Yeah.
it's just more suggestive. And like he's heard shit before. He's watched Back to the Future, and they say it in that like Marty McFly's always going, "Holy shit!" So you know, it's good because I got to sit down and watch it with him again and watch it and get a fresh take on it on Saturday. And I have a lot more to say about it than I originally did after watching it the first time. How about you tell the audience about your viewing experience of this movie?
Yeah, I went into it and I still know the bare bones of the game. So I'm like, I know who Nathan Drake is, and I know who Wahlberg's character is, and I know that they're like going on adventures. But that's pretty much it. That is about it. I see my hopes raise a little bit when you watch and you're like, you know what, that wasn't bad. I'm like, I'm probably gonna like this then.
Yeah, well, it was, as I said to you in a personal message when we were talking about it just before. First of all, me and Alan don't share much about our thoughts on a movie before we talk on a video. We'll just sort of say, yay, yeah, we liked it, or no, we didn't, or sort of give a rough overview of our feelings on the movie. And my view was, it was good. It wasn't great, like fantastic. It wasn't like a masterpiece of cinema. It wasn't bad. It was just a good watch.
It was adequate.
Exactly. And yeah, you told me you got a weird copy of it or something.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I must have downloaded it just before the web rips came out, because it came up and it's like this weird intro. I'm like, that's a weird intro to a movie. Then I was kind of like, the picture isn't the greatest. Maybe I just downloaded 480p or something. Then throughout the movie, I kept just cutting away to these weird Indian ads of these Indian dudes like seeing and advertising the company, piracy company, like Star Dollar or something. And it was really fucking loud. Like, you'd have the TV at a good volume and then it'd just be blaring and it's like, I can't do this. This is hilarious, but I can't do this. So I had to say on 7Cs again. And
yeah, whenever I think of like bootleg movies that have been filmed in cinemas, like screeners, rather than HD rips or DVD rips or web rips or whatever, and you get like the screener, like theater shot ones, I always think of that Seinfeld episode.
Oh, the dude with the camera.
And how Jerry films that movie and then starts demanding more cameras and stuff. Like, I'm going to need 4 cameras set up. So,
it was one of those, like, when I inspected it, it was clearly that, but it was clearly someone in the projection booth was being dodgy because you couldn't see anyone's heads. It was a good picture. It was steady.
But by the way, just for the audience, we're not. ALANNIS did not acquire this illegally.
No, someone else did and put it on my TV.
Hey, that's what they get for not putting it on a streaming service yet in Australia. And we're forced to do that. There is literally, it makes no sense. Yeah, this movie came out around the same time as Jackass, the movie, February, Jackass Forever. And Jackass Forever hit Blu-ray in, I want to say April. And Uncharted wasn't slated for like home release till May. Like, what were they holding on for? Like, just get it out as fast as possible. I don't understand this whole thought process from like movie distributors and stuff like that like hold on to the movie after it's been in theaters. Like, you should get it out while people still want to see the movie at its hypest moment. Like, you don't want to release it. Remember back in our day in the 90s, how long it took for a fucking movie from the cinema to VHS?
Oh, yeah.
And if you didn't want to get the VHS, if you wanted to wait for it to be on television, so you can see that movie 3 years later. So it's better than it once was. But I think that this movie should have come out, played in cinemas, and instantly been released on a streaming service / digital / Blu-ray. You know what I mean? Like, it's the sort of movie that I think the more time that passes, you're going to release it, and the people that had any sort of interest in it are going to be like, Oh, that's that Uncharted movie. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what happened with the most recent Tomb Raider movie, and I still haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, man.
Yeah.
We should do a Tomb Raider ranked and review, man. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, the new one would it'll have to be better than the Angelina Jolie ones. It'll have to.
Oh, dude, I forgot there was 2 Angelina Jolie ones. We definitely have to do a rank. Yeah, I've never been a fan of. I don't think I've ever seen one of them, to be honest.
I saw the first one at the movies and went, man, I'm pretty sure I was either a late teen or early 20s then. So at least at that point in time, it was just like, oh, Angelina Jolie. I remember seeing the second one and going, even that doesn't save this. Like,
What's it called? The Cradle of Life?
Yeah.
How the fuck do I know the title of the movie but I've never seen it? Yeah, the new Tomb Raider apparently was, again, I've heard it's adequate. But
that's better than average.
I do believe that this Uncharted movie would probably be better than that as well.
I'll tell you so. I think it has more of a budget as well. I'll be willing to wager.
You know what? We can answer this with a simple IMDb search of Tomb Raider as well, and we can compare the scores. So Tomb Raider 2018 came out and it got a 6.3 IMDb rating. Uncharted has it's a close race, 6.4. So probably on par, man. And that's the thing. I never heard one person say that Tomb Raider movie was bad. I heard people just go, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I felt about this movie. So with that, we're going to get straight into the overview of this movie. And the overview goes like this. Uncharted, released 2022, rated PG-13. Oh my God, man. Hold on, I got to stop for a second. This PG-13 nonsense has to stop. How the hell is this movie rated the same as The Batman? The Batman is something my son could never watch at the moment, at his age. He wouldn't deal with it because of how creepy the starting scene is with Riddler beating this dude over the head with a hammer and shit. How did the Batman get put into cinemas with that rating? I still think that that's such a...
Well, the Batman was still just M here for us as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I think it's very different ends of the spectrum.
I believe so too. And I'm not saying the Batman is like this fucking over the top scary horror movie or whatever. I'm just saying it's got some very confronting parts that a lot of children couldn't sit through, including
this
my
movie, Uncharted, and there's a bit I'll comment on later. But it outwardly very much looked like it was trying to pull its punches for a low rating. Like, there's some things that I'm like,
Well, we'll get to another thing about that shortly, which is interesting, but I'm kind of happy they did it because if they wouldn't have done that, I think my son wouldn't have been able to see it. But anyway, we'll continue on with the overview. It's rated PG-13, apparently. It should have been rated general for all audiences if that's going to be the same as The Batman. 1 hour and 56 minutes the running time is. And the synopsis goes a little like this. Street smart Nathan Drake is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Victor Sully Sullivan to recover a fortune amassed by Ferdinand Magellan and lost 500 years ago by the House of Moncada. And now, this is directed by Ruben Fleischer and written by Rafe Judkins, Art Markham, and Matt Holloway. And this stars Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas, amongst more. Now, that's the overview. So we're going to get straight into our personal thoughts. And as always, Alan's up first.
Yes, I think this movie was kind of... It's a popcorn action movie that's just worth the watch. I think anyone that kind of likes action movies will enjoy it. It had some pretty standout parts, like some of the choreography for the fight scenes. Like, just as it was kind of getting a little bit, like, I wouldn't say dragging, but a little bit like, come on, it just busted out. So like the fights when they're on the boat and they'll go in one door and the other guys will fight upstairs and then they'll come through the door and knock them away. I thought it was really well done. It reminded me, and it's funny because it made a reference to it in that same scene. It reminded me a lot of the Pirates of the Caribbean fight scenes. Just really well choreographed and thought out, and coincidentally both on old boats. So that was my main thing. And there's a lot of references as well. Like it felt like it was paying homage to Indiana Jones in a very big way, which I feel made it that little bit more enjoyable because it rooted itself in that without trying to be that. Like the planes going across the map with the red line. You're almost thinking, like I was thinking in my head, I was thinking,
yeah. Well, my son actually said when the plane did it again for the second time, he goes, "I like this part. This is cool." And I just went, "They do it on Indiana Jones too." So,
and, even the ending, which I suppose I won't give away at this point because it's still kind of new. It kind of
no. This is a spoiler-filled review. You can do it, man.
Well, in the indie movies, he never gets the treasure, but he gets something else, like a relationship with his son or whatever. This kind of did that, but then Drake pulls out the gold and goes, "Ah, we still got gold." It's like that felt intentional, and I like that as well. Like it turned itself in the way of Indiana Jones a lot and kind of tipped its hat to it a lot of times in ways that were tasteful, I think.
Definitely. And I know you haven't played the games, so you don't have a lot of reference points for what this really is, except for the movie. So being that is the case for you, how did you think they went with setting up the movie so that people could enjoy it if they weren't interested in the games or hadn't played them before?
I think very well. They explained themselves very well. I don't know if they mis-explained themselves. I don't know if they were inaccurate to the games, but I feel like I didn't have to play the game to understand what was going on. Like it set the scene very well.
Well, I'll tell you some interesting facts. The plane scene to start off with is from the third Uncharted game. The auction scene is from the fourth Uncharted game. So basically, they took key moments from each game and created one overarching story. And to be honest, when I first heard that they did that, I was pretty not pleased. I was like, why wouldn't you do like the story of Drake's fortune, like translate the first game, Uncharted, to movie? You could change things. You could make it a bit different. You could even make the gold, the treasure, like completely different, but just like have the same introduction to the characters sort of thing, like have the same sort of like, so you could get to know these characters, and then over like the course of a bunch of movies, you could expand it and get bigger. But I understand that they were like, well, we don't know if this is gonna be multiple movies yet. We have to see how the box office results are before we make this a multiple movie. So I guess that's why they did that. But I also think the story worked in a way. Now, the thing I am a little bit confused on what they're going to do going into the sequel is the story of Sam getting kicked out of the orphanage. That never happens in the game. Like, you don't see that, and you don't see him like getting arrested. You don't see any of that stuff. And that scene of them breaking into a place together as well is also from Uncharted 4, but like later as a like flashback, and it's not even tied to the orphanage or anything like that, or where they are. Yeah. So that orphanage scene like was written to the point that Sam leaves, but in Uncharted 4 it starts with just Nathan in the orphanage, and they're like, you're going to turn out just like your brother kind of thing. And then you meet up with Sam and stuff. So what I'm basically trying to say is that I'm confused what they're going to do in the second one, because Sam was basically the Sully of Uncharted 4, because Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 feature you and Sully, or you and Elena, his girlfriend at the time, running around doing stuff together. But on the fourth one, it's like you and Sam majority of the time. And I find it weird that they didn't bring in someone like Mark Wahlberg to play Sam instead of make him play Sully. But yeah, it's just a weird choice, man. Like, because there's no reason to me of why they wouldn't have made it Sam rather than make it Sully. Because, but I don't know. It's just weird that they took sort of like these premises from 4 different games and shoved them all together to create one movie. But also, there was parts in it that weren't in any movie ever, any game ever. So I don't know. The other part that I was going to say when you said they were trying to push sort of a friendly rating was the fact of in the games, you're mowing down hundreds of people. You're like, you're shooting hundreds and hundreds.
There's less action than I expected.
So there's barely any gun violence in this too. I don't know if you noticed this. The gun is at the start when he's in the plane scene. I think it's again in the plane scene later, and I think it's used once more. Like you don't see, I think you see one person get shot, and it's like cut away again. So it's weird because when you get through that game, like I think on my Uncharted 4 account, it says like total enemies killed 1,000. So have you played the Tomb Raider games, the like the new one?
Yeah.
Expect the enemy sort of level if that when you play Uncharted.
Okay, so decent, yeah.
And speaking of that, my personal favorite part of the movie would have to have been the opening scene with the plane, and then seeing it continue later on in the movie, which is what they do in the Uncharted games. Most of the games start off with you late in the journey, about to like die or something's happening explosive, and then it cuts, and then like it'll cut to like, a sunny day and Nathan Drake's doing whatever. And then 10 hours into the game, you'll find yourself back at where that point started. So the games are really cool, man. And I love the games. And that's the biggest problem about this movie is I love Uncharted. I have played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 twice normally. I've played 1 and 3 both on hard and finished it. I haven't done number 2. I'm just about to do number 2 again on hard. And I've played 4 all the way through. And this is going to be my 3rd time going all the way through 4. And I'm only doing it because of the PS5 version being released. And I want the trophies and shit. And I'm pretty close to the end. So I have played these games extensively. And it's probably one of my favorite game, one of my favorite game franchises ever. And when anyone asks me what my favorite game is on PlayStation 4, I'm always saying Uncharted 4. So that's the problem with this movie is that someone like me who loves the movies like the games like I do wasn't interested in the movie when I saw it advertised, and I wasn't interested that much to even watch the movie until I heard people go, it was good, like it wasn't bad. So I was like, I'll give it a go, because when I first saw that first trailer, man, I was devastated. I was like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sorry, but Tom Holland is not the same age as Nathan Drake at all. Like Nathan Drake is like, in the game, he's like 30 something, man. Like 30, like 9 or shut. Like I don't know, man. It just baffles me, that cast decision. Not saying Tom Holland did a bad job, because he actually was fun to watch in it and stuff. And while he wore the same clothing as Nathan Drake would, or, I guess he kind of looks like a young Nathan Drake. Like, it's still a weird casting choice, even though he did a good, serviceable job. And same with Mark Wahlberg as Sully. That one is the most baffling one to me, because Sully is like 60 something, and Mark Wahlberg's like, and Sully is fucking, oh, come on, kid, we gotta go do this. And so, Mark Wahlberg, you got me a cat? Jesus Christ, I'm Mark Wahlberg. You know what I mean? I used to be Marky Mark. I'm Mark Wahlberg. Like, fucking. So I don't know, man. While I enjoyed this movie, it still wasn't perfect. But my son and me both did like the sort of last little teaser we got after the Uncharted logo at the end of the movie. what did you think? Did you see that or did you not?
Where there's one part that I was meant to go back to, like the very split scene where they get stopped by someone. I don't know if you got to see who stopped them.
Yeah, on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the voice of Nathan Drake from the game.
Ah.
And so at the end of the movie, I don't know if you noticed, because the first time I watched it, I turned it off before it came up. It was sort of like a post-credit scene, but it was before the credits rolled, where the camera pans throughout the jail, and then you see some dude with the long hair sitting there, and then you see him writing the note, and it's like, obviously Sam. And I was like, that's what I mean by I don't understand what they're going to do, because that's not how the story goes in Uncharted 4. So I'm interested to see how they tackle that when they get to it. But yeah, that was my favorite part, and my least favorite part in the movie was probably, that's a tough one, man. My least favorite part was probably just, I didn't really like the female lead of Chloe.
Yeah.
I found her to be a little bland and kind of boring. And I thought that she was really, like, it was just the way she played it just didn't make sense. The way she was, like, it looked like she was head over heels, and then she turns on him, and then she's like driving the weird scene at the end where she's just like following them on a tracker and shit like that. Like, there's just weird choices with her character and other things, because Chloe barely plays a role in Uncharted 4. I don't even think she's in Uncharted 4 from memory. So I know she's in 2, but like, yeah, I don't know. So how does this movie make you feel about a sequel, and how does this movie make you feel towards playing the games? As you said, you're going to get a PlayStation eventually and play through these games. How does that make you, like, what does this movie do for you?
I wouldn't really say it's inspired me any more than just what I know of the games, what you've shown me, what I've seen. Because they seem like pretty different things, as you said. There's a lot more violence in the games. The casting's very different, so I don't know if it would like make me go about the movie actually playing the games. It'd be interesting to see how that panned out. But
yeah, dude, it's a great game series, man. And if anyone hasn't played it out there, but they've seen the movie, like, and they have an interest in video games, like, I can't suggest a game more than this to you, because it's like watching a movie, but it's playing a game. And it's like playing a summer blockbuster movie, but game form. And it just feels high budget. It feels polished. It feels fun. It's got awesome mechanics. The story's cinematic. The cinematics, like, the cinematic scenes are just beautiful. Like, the environments are gorgeous. The dialogue's written well. Like, everything about the games is just on a par on a different level compared to other games. You could put The Last of Us up there and stuff, but I still don't think The Last of Us has the cachet that Uncharted has, considering The Last of Us 1 is like critically acclaimed and loved by audiences and things like that, but The Last of Us Part 2 has audiences very split, critics very split, people hate it, people love it, and I've never finished The Last of Us Part 2, and I've played it twice. I played it once for 10 hours, and then I was like, oh, I'm over this. And then tried again and got to nearly the same spot and was like, yeah, nah. So I just think that the games are fantastic, and I don't think this movie showcases that well enough. So I'm hoping you really do get to see, like, you do get to play it soon, these games, because you said you're going to build a PC rig too, yeah? Like, what are you going to do first? Are you going to build a PC or are you going to get a PlayStation?
I'm probably going to hopefully aim for both around the same time. PC is probably going to be more focused on being a tool than a gaming. Like, I'll probably play lower end games, but have that more video focus. So I'll probably get the PC PlayStation around the same time that would make up the difference if I was getting a high-end gaming computer.
Yeah, well, the Uncharted collection, the Nathan Drake collection, which is 1, 2, and 3, and they're all remastered for PlayStation 4 and up-resed, I think, for PS5. So they look really good. Are coming to PC actually. So that's an option if you can't get a PS5 or something at the time. And Uncharted 4 is already on PC, I believe. Or yeah, it's out now. And if I was you as well, I'd play them in the order that they came out. I wouldn't jump ahead because you'll just miss too much. And that's what I think. That's what I think this movie did, is jump ahead too much with a lot of things from the games and taking stories from them. So I just wish it would have been like a more dragged out story over movies rather than contained. But I do understand why they did that because of concerns of it not performing well. So, and also, I guess I'm going to have to ask the question, where would you put this on your list of ranking for video game adapted movies?
Without knowing the game, but still enjoying the movie and not feeling like it was tacky, it was actually a legitimately well put together movie. I'll put it at least the higher end of the middle. To say definitively, I'll probably have to know a bit more about the games, but it's definitely a lot better than a lot of video game adaptations that have come out. Not the best, but it's definitely, I think, watchable. Like, you put this next to most of the Resident Evil games, even without playing a Resident Evil game, I'll go, man, this is a shit movie. Like, this didn't do that. So yeah, I'd say it'd be towards the top of video game movies out there that I've seen, because they're notoriously bad. Yeah, but there's one other thing I didn't like. The throat slash of Antonio Banderas' character. The initial doing it was fine, but when they kept coming back to it and you just saw the tiny little trickle of blood, I don't think that was necessary. I think that, yeah, they had to censor it for a reason, but they shouldn't have revisited that particular angle where you could see it was just a tiny little trickle of blood coming out. And I found it removed me from the immersion a little bit. It's like, yes, censored movie. Yeah.
Well, I'm bringing up something for you just to quickly check out, just to show you what it sort of how they adapted some scenes. This is the plane scene from Uncharted 3. And we're not going to watch the whole thing, obviously, but I'm just going to show you the differences quickly. So obviously this is gameplay as well. So I think you can already see a difference that they're over a desert, not the ocean.
Yeah.
And as you can see, they adapted it pretty well. I think you hit by a car as well. I can't remember. I'm skipping forward. So here you go. This is what I mean by you mow down heaps of people in these games. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting to show you sort of like how that was adapted, you know. So
interesting.
So basically, we're going to give it our actual. I'm going to give it a quick score now, and my score out of 5 would be exactly what I gave Jackass Forever, Jackass 4.5, a 3 out of 5.
I would put it in exactly the same spot.
I feel like if we're going to do a reviewing show like this and we do one-off episodes like this where we don't rank the movies compared to each other, which we don't really give movies scores. The whole point to this show is to rank movies in franchises or whatever in genres. So like we haven't done that yet, but we're going to do like a video game. This will probably go in that folder. We're going to do a video game movie series where we rank all the video game movies next to each other. We're doing Jurassic Park at the moment. So while we're doing these sort of separate special event episodes when we're waiting for another movie to drop, like we are with Dominion, we should probably decide what point scale we're going to be doing this on, and we should probably come up with a what each star means. So, like, I'd say for 1 star, like 0 stars, terrible fucking movie.
Instead of 0, it should be Morbius. Oh boy, I saw that as well, and that was. I get nightmares.
I refuse.
Good.
Especially because of who's in it.
Yeah. Yes.
I hate that scumbag, man. So
Yeah.
if people want to know about it, go look it up. I'm not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna give it any news. I don't want to talk about the guy, but yeah, Jared Leto is a piece of shit. Just go Google it. So, because I don't think it's come out to public knowledge completely yet. I believe there's a lot of people still in the dark about it.
I think there's been people being paid off as well, which is terrible.
Yep. So
yes. Google about his
just look up
extracurricular activities.
Just look up Jared Leto rumors, I guess. I'm not going to say the word because I looked up something completely different, you know. But yeah, I'm never going to watch that movie. So yeah, no, that'd be a funny idea, man. What if we make each star a movie type? Like, so 0, Morbius. 1 would be shit. What would be a 1?
I think Jurassic Park 3.
Yep. Because I would watch Jurassic Park 3. I wanted to watch Jurassic Park 3. Morbius would have been interesting had it been good. So yeah, Morbius, Jurassic Park 3 is 1. 2, I think we'll go Batman and Robin.
Yes.
3, we'll go. I'm trying to think of a okay movie that was okay from back in the day or something. No, you know what? I'm going to stand by this. Number 3 is The Batman because it was good. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't bad. It was okay. It was all right, but it wasn't fantastic. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I know we've got Batman and Robin in there already, but maybe we could update these one day. And number 4, we'll do
Temple of Doom.
Oh. I'd say Last Crusade, 4.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. Last Crusade.
And then 5, I'm going to say
Barbie.
No. What's my favorite movie, man? I can't even think right now what that's a problem for me. Like when people are like, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, I got lots.
Of which genre?
There are lots of favorite movies. What's your favorite movie, man? Or could you put
same sort of thing? It's hard. It's yeah. I don't know.
I've got a shit taste in movies. That's a problem.
I have a very shit and eclectic one.
I'm going to just say it's Back to the Future.
Yeah, I'll pay that.
I mean, Indiana Jones is my favorite film franchise, but Last Crusade isn't like a perfect movie. Back to the Future 1 is like a perfect movie. That movie holds a special place for me because it was the first time me and my son really connected over a movie that we watched in full that wasn't a kid's movie. He loved it. So, and he loved this too, which is awesome because I was like, do you want to watch Uncharted? And he was like, not really. And I was like, no, trust me, you'll like it. And we put it on. He loved it. So, all right. Was there any plot holes or anything you noticed or anything that you were like, that's a bit weird?
The throat slashing, that I think was the biggest one. It wasn't so much a plot hole, but just it broke the immersion. Like it I get why they did it, but I think they cut away in the first place. They could have done a different angle.
I don't know if you did notice when I don't know who opens the lock. I think it's Tom Holland opens a suitcase and there's the Naughty Dog logo on it from PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah. So, because they made the Uncharted games, they also made Crash Bandicoot back in the day. So the Naughty Dog logo's in the suitcase, and that's what I loved. Which was I was trying to spot more references, but that's really the only one I really noticed, like blatantly noticed. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5, and a 5 is a Back to the Future. So I wonder, we gave Jackass Forever a Back to the Future, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 5 out of 5. That's my movie of the year so far. What's your movie of the year? Doctor Strange?
Yes. That would be my movie.
That'd be your number 5 nearly. Like your 5-star, I reckon.
Actually, yeah, I think as a 5-star because of everything it did and did well, I'd probably put that as a 5.
How about this? In our spare time, me and you will both think about our own personal 5-star ranking so that when we come in, you can go, I'm going to give it a Morbius. And I can be like, well, I'm going to give it a fucking whatever. And we'll just know what that is.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Because I think me and you have different, like what we consider like higher movie, like, because you love Doctor Strange. And I know you came out of that being like, man, that was fucking awesome. You know what I mean? You were like saying it was like, I think you said it was the best Marvel movie, yeah?
One of, definitely.
Yeah.
I think I'd say probably second. If you count the Infinity War thing as one movie, I'd say it was the second best.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, you've heard our thoughts. So now, before we get out of here, we're going to read you some trivia. And then we're going to get the fuck out of here. All right. Tom Holland revealed that he was playing Uncharted 4: A Thief's End with his friends during the production of Spider-Man Homecoming in 2017, and even refused to come to set until he completed the car chase sequence in Chapter 11, hidden in plain sight. In the early stages of the production, Mark Wahlberg, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci were all slated to be in the movie, with David O. Russell directing the film. Since then, all three and the director dropped out of the project. Wahlberg would later be cast as Sully. The film is the first feature production of Sony PlayStation's productions. Nathan Fillion has shown an interest in the role, stating, I think every actor I know desires to have an action hero role. They're Indiana Jones. I think this would be a good one for me. Fillion later played Nathan Drake in the short film Uncharted, live action fan film 2018, which gained very positive feedback from fans of the games. However, that film was neither authorized nor endorsed by Naughty Dog or Sony.
He would have been a really good Nathan Drake on looks. He looks like him, like that.
Yeah. After finishing filming, Tom Holland began filming Spider-Man No Way Home just days later. Tom Holland calls his plane scene the hardest action sequence he's ever made. The film was banned in Vietnam and the Philippines because it features a map that includes the 9-dash line, a contested sea feature that, as per tribunal decision of the United Nations Convention of the Law of Sea, last 2016, does not have any legal basis. Why are these people arguing about the ocean, man? Like, what you cannot release a movie in Thailand because the ocean doesn't produce waves that way, or whatever. What a fucking absolute petty thing. Like, no, the 9-pointing star should be a 6-pointing star, and until you change that, Uncharted will not be released here. Man, that's fucking stupid. All right, we'll read 2 more. First Naughty Dog video game to get a film treatment. HBO later announced a TV adaptation of the other Naughty Dog video game, The Last of Us, which came out in 2013. And the last one, we're going to go. Mark Wahlberg has stated in an interview with IGN that he's only signed on for one film. What do you see? Do you see him coming back?
I think he definitely will come back if they throw enough money at him.
And Do you think there will be a sequel?
I don't know. It wasn't like, I don't know how well the movie did, but I didn't hear much about it. I don't think it was a blockbuster, so it'll be interesting to see. At the same time, it wasn't poo-pooed.
I can tell you how well it went. It did so well that it was the #1 movie opening weekend in US and Canada, and was one of the top grossing films for opening during pandemic.
That's fair when you consider some of the movies that came out through the pandemic.
The budget of it was 120 million. They grossed 147 million in US and Canada and 400 million worldwide.
There you go. So I reckon we'll see a sequel because that has brought the bread home. So
I believe we will see a sequel as well. And I've got to say, even though I wasn't looking forward to this movie and I was concerned and I didn't love this movie, I have more faith in liking the sequel and hoping that will grow on me, make the movies grow on me. Because as I said, Tom Holland was a weird choice, but he wasn't bad. It just was baffling to me that was the cast decision. And I do believe that he's really popular at the moment with like a lot of females apparently. So I'm guessing
I feel he was hired for the same reasons Angelina Jolie was hired, except for the female audience, not the male audience.
Or if you are a male and you're into that, that's fine. We don't.
Oh yeah, like.
Or if you don't identify as either gender or whatever, hey, it's fine. It's fine.
If you find Spider-Man, what's his name? Fuck. Tom. If you find Tom Holland attractive, male, female, anything, good for you.
You said my name, man. It made me flushed. You went Tom, and I was like, ooh, Alan. All right. Well, that was another episode of Ranked and Reviewed. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We have an issue, Alan.
Yes.
What are we going to review next week?
Ooh.
I don't want to start Jackass 4.5, Jackass 0.5 in review yet because I want to do that all in one block. I do not want to continue our Batman Ranked and Reviewed series because I want to do that Nolan trilogy all in one block as that's where we are up to next. So I think we need another standalone episode. And you know what? I want to let you pick this time.
Why don't we do... Neither of us seen it. So why don't we do Tomb Raider so we can directly compare the two?
That's a good idea. And then when there's another week break in our slates, we can do Tomb Raider 2 and then Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're going to do we can do the first Tomb Raider movies later on. We'll do this new Tomb Raider and see how it compares to this. And maybe we can rank them next to each other.
Yeah.
This is kind of starting a video game adaption thing early, but you know what? We could just start it kind of thing and add to it as the weeks go on. And this is a good idea, actually. Let's make it that we review a video game movie every time we have blanks in our schedule.
Yeah, that works.
Until we've done all of them. And then that way, that blank schedule episodes will end up being a whole series. Which, by the way, guys, we got some cool news for you before we head out. And that is that you can now catch our show in audio form. That's right, in stereo. Through Apple Podcasts. All you have to
left and right speaker.
Yes. And it's in stereo where available. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm still going to create the video for it to advertise it. And we should definitely have that like in stereo where available. Come up.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it at the start of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're available on Apple Podcasts now. And you can find us by going to the Apple Podcasts app. In the search bar, type in Loud Media or Ranked and Reviewed, whatever you want to do. And we're the first option that comes up. And we have created an extensive catalog, and it's still being put together at the moment. We have every review we've done up except for Indiana Jones, the Batman movies we've done so far, and the special event episodes we did, like including Straight Outta Compton and CKY, plus this movie. So they will be up as soon as possible. But people have to understand that I'm going back to older episodes and creating the audio file and then uploading it and then putting all the information in. And it's taken a long time, man. It's taking a long time, but it's worth it. And don't worry, our other shows that are on Loud Media will be coming to the Apple Podcast app soon too. We had to start somewhere, and we started with Ranked and Reviewed because it's kind of our
thing.
Kind of become a tentpole show for us, which that was never the intention. We were actually never going to make this a continuing series, but the numbers suggest otherwise. So now we review movies. How's that, Alan?
That is our life now.
Imagine people coming and listening to us for advice on movies. So yeah, go support us on Apple Podcasts. And remember, if you check it out and you like what you hear, please leave a review. It's really important. We want to start getting some reviews up so that people check it out and we get more audience members. We'd like to thank you for joining us. And we will obviously see you next week now with our Tomb Raider 2018 review for our video game adaption ranked and reviewed series, which has begun now. Wait a second. Did we review another? We haven't reviewed another video game yet. Why not, have we? No.
No. So it begins now. Wait.
It does begin now.
Now.
I'm gonna have to create some promotional stuff for that. Anyways, as always, I've been your host, TOMYE West. And joining me as always has been my co-host, ALANNIS MAXIMUS. Make sure you like and subscribe and you share. And ALANNIS, when does the episode start? When does it start?
Now.